little cool, a little cloudy, but a big house expected tonight. The Mariners are back home after a week-long road trip. It is rivalry weekend around Major League Baseball. The San Diego Padres come to town. It's game one of this three-game weekend series. Great to have you with us, as always. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Ryan Rowland-Smith. Hyphen, it turned out to be a good road trip for the Mariners, a winning road trip against the White Sox and the Astros.
Yeah, and especially the way they finished too. Going into Houston, we know about all of a sudden they have that dominance down in Houston. And a couple guys in that lineup too who absolutely went off, one of them being Luke Raley. Good to see.
Well, he's the subject of our Blue Moon Bright Spot. This was one of the best weeks of his big league career. 350 the average. That doesn't even come close to telling the whole story. His first career grand slam, a 7-ribby night against the White Sox to begin the road trip. Overall, 4 home runs on that trip for Luke Raley.
And this was good to see, Aaron, too, because look, Luke Raley came out the gates after opening day, hit the 3 home runs, if you remember, in early April, and then all of a sudden he started to cool off a little bit. But this, like I said, was good to see. He is crushing fastballs. He did take one deep with the slider, but besides that, it's everything against hitters at the top of the strike zone for Luke Raley. Now, I want to go back to this pitch by pitch. The changeup has been a little bit of a struggle for him. So he's looking for that fastball. All of a sudden, Burrows in this at-bat tries to get him with that changeup. Look, he gets him to swing and miss. Then he's able to foul one of these pitches off. He stays on that pitch, and for some reason tries to sneak a heater by him, stays in the strike zone. And I love this, hitting the ball to left field just deep enough to get up into those Crawford boxes. But Luke Raley going off in Houston to finish off this road trip.
Yeah, home rain in back-to-back games. The Northwest Chevy Silverado drive of the game. This was the final touch of the Mariners road trip. The 8th run driven in came off the bat of J.P. Crawford.
Yeah, good to see. Again, we know about Cal Raleigh. We're going to talk more about him, losing him in the lineup. But a chance for some of these other members like J.P., Luke Raley down the bottom of the lineup, doing some big things.
Emerson Hancock having a magnificent season up on the mound tonight to begin the homestand. Mariners TV is brought to you by Emerald Queen Casino. Multi-platinum comedian and singer Rodney Carrington brings his legendary live show to Emerald Queen Casino June 25th. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. By the Washington Traffic Safety Commission, seatbelts save lives. Remember to always buckle up when you drive. And Washington Trust Bank, privately owned and locally invested since 1902. Mariners and the Padres beginning the series tonight. Our Western Washington Toyota pitching matchup. Randy Vasquez takes the ball for the Padres, and Emerson Hancock having a magnificent start to his season, makes his 9th start this year.
Yeah, look, he has been so good to the point where he's had to make this front office create some tough decisions with the 6-man starting rotation, but he's doing a lot with the swing and miss. The sweeper, we know all about that, and the fastball. But I want to go back to his last game. Now, we talked about the different arm slot. I think for Emerson Hancock, going back to this inning, he just lost that command all of a sudden. You can watch him, all of a sudden he's missing up and away, and then he tries to overcompensate, and all these pitches he's yanking into that left-handed batter's box, just trying to get that feel. This is the second mound visit. Woody came out to talk to him, and then he served this up. Wham! Pitch down the middle. Julio unable to get to that. And that was all she wrote with the 5 runs against Emerson Hancock. So that was a tough one. This is going to be a situation for him with a lot of righties. He can get it done, and hopefully he passes off to this bullpen.
Tonight's Muckleshoot Casino Resort Pen Report. Nick Davila, who has really come out of nowhere and helped this Mariners bullpen, pitch 3 times in that 4-game series in Houston.
And how about that, too? I mean, remember last time we were here in Seattle, he was taking pictures, making his debut with his family. And this is the debut. Matter of fact, this is when in those steelhead uniforms. And then on the road, all of a sudden, he was thrown into some really high leverage spots. You don't usually see that when it's game 2, game 3, game 4. He's looked good. Look, the slider for him is a big weapon. I still don't feel like we've seen the best version of that pitch. Just a couple strikeouts for him. But again, this bullpen, we know about Gabe Spire and Matt Brash slowly but surely coming back. But some guys have to fill some gaps like Davila.
And reinforcements, Jose Ferrer has been activated off the paternity list. Will be in the bullpen tonight. It is the Vetter Cup, game 1 of 3. The Mariners and the Padres. Yeah, the Vetter Cup trophy on the line. Mariners TV is brought to you by UW Medicine, where research gives hope to those in need and creates healthier futures for all. UW Medicine, a higher degree of health care. By your local Ford dealer, home of the F-150, America's best-selling truck for 49 years. And by PIMCO, the insurance you get. Learn more at PIMCO.com. Mariners are back home and welcome to town the San Diego Padres. Mariners looking for a little revenge in this Vetter Cup series after being swept in San Diego earlier this year. Well, for the Padres, a team that is really struggling offensively despite some big names. Jackson Merrill, one of just 2 left-handed bats in the lineup today, leads things off. And Fernando Tatis Jr., I don't know, maybe it's a little more nerve-wracking that he hasn't homered yet. He is still sitting on a goose egg in that home run.
That's a good point. If we spend too much time talking about it, you may get something middle of the plate, go deep and break that streak.
Machado and then the bat of Gavin Sheets, the other lefty in the lineup today for the Padres. That's what the top of the order looks like. Facing Emerson Hancock, making start number 9. He's been one of the great stories out of any rotation in baseball this year.
Yeah, it really has. We talked about enforcing the issue to create some getting crafty for you this front office when Bryce Miller came back off the IL. All of a sudden, the 6-man rotation, some piggybacking going on. But Emerson Hancock, man, he has been brilliant. Again, the fastball at the top of the strike zone has been a huge difference, and that sweeper has absolutely come to life. You mentioned just the 2 lefties in this lineup, Aaron. I think that's going to serve that sweeper well.
A nice crowd on hand as the Mariners come back home, and Johnny Pereda, who was recently recalled when unfortunately Cal Raleigh had to be placed on the injured list for the first time in his career. Pereda is behind home plate tonight for the Mariners as they get set to host the Padres in game 1 of this 3-game weekend series. First pitch, Jackson Merrill swings away at a fastball. No surprise from Emerson Hancock, and we are underway. Mariners coming off a winning road trip, unfortunately losing a series on the south side of Chicago against the White Sox, but then taking 3 out of 4 against the Astros. And no rest for the Mariners, landing last night after making the trip from the Midwest or down south and playing right away. And that man doesn't want a day off, the way Luke Raley's been swinging it. Hancock ahead, 0-2. Meanwhile, these Padres are trying to figure out what's going on offensively for them this year. They have really struggled. They have been one of the least productive offensive teams in the majors this season, and yet you look at where they are in the standings and you say, well, how could that be?
Right.
Misses.
And you try and point to some bright spots offensively, but that man right there, we talked about the fact he still hasn't gone deep yet. Manny Machado really struggling out the gates. Jackson Merrill, the man at the plate.
Well, their slash line is among one of the worst in baseball this year as this goes down towards the corner and slices foul. They have the lowest batting average. They're 28th in on base and 25th in slugging. The bottom line number of how many runs they score tonight is 24th in baseball. This is a team with some big stars offensively, as you know. And if you're the Padres, you're saying it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, the Mariners hope that it happens sometime after Sunday. Good start for Emerson Hancock. 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and he gets the strikeout right away.
Now, first of all, Jackson Merrill, that's the pitch he has been struggling with, especially at the top of the strike zone. And look, for Emerson Hancock, we talked about that last outing. To me, it felt like the command was going. It took him a good 2 to 3, 4 innings to really get that feel for it. By that point, it was 5 runs, but he was missing arm side a lot early in that game, then tried to overcompensate. And that's where that damage was done early.
And Tatis into shallow center, and Julio comes in and makes the catch. Tatis is out right away. 2 down. Normally we would see the Mariners in their City Connect uniforms tonight on a Friday night at home, but the Mariners going with their home whites. It's Salute the Armed Forces weekend, so the Mariners wearing the dark green ball caps. It's better paired with the white.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if he tried to pull off those City Connects.
Chopping ball over to J.P. Crawford. Emerson Hancock, a very smooth top of the first underway. It is the Vetter Cup, second series between the Mariners and the Padres this year. Brendan Donovan leading things off, a right-hander on the mound, so plenty of lefties in there. Naylor, Raley, Crawford, Canzone, and Young, the lefty bats for the Mariners today. Facing off against the right-handed Randy Vasquez, who has had a really nice year. Had a good year last year, Hyphen, but is doing it a little bit differently this year. Throwing harder, getting more swing and miss.
Yeah, the velocity's up a good 1.5 miles. He's got that vertical ride on that pitch. Being on the attack a lot more with that pitch right there, that fastball.
Second time the Mariners are seeing Vasquez this year. In fact, this is a rematch of Jackie Robinson Day between the Mariners and the Padres, between Hancock and Vasquez. Mariners did well against him last time around. 4 runs over 4 innings. He had a hard time with command. He walked 4 batters. Ball and 2 strikes to Brendan Donovan, who was just a home run shy of the cycle yesterday. Would have become the 5th Mariner to ever cycle. He goes down swinging. 97 that time from Vasquez. Tonight's Padres defense courtesy of defender Fernando Tatis Jr. You remember when he came up, he was initially a shortstop. They moved him to right field. All he has done is win not 1 but 2 platinum gloves out there in right field, given each year to the best overall defender regardless of position in each league. Don't hit it to right. Julio looks in a strike.
He's had to go back to second base a handful of times. Jay Cronenworth out of the lineup.
It was very strange to see Tatis, even for just a game or 2 at second base, but he played that very well. He's one of the best athletes in the game.
Right.
1-1 to Julio. A good road trip for Julio overall. A couple of homers. Hit close to 270 that week-long trip to Chicago and then to Houston. Having a really good start to his year. As the count evens. Kyle Schwarber, 2 more home runs tonight. He has gone just absolutely bananas. Buxton with 7, and then Julio in a 7-way tie for the 3rd most home runs in baseball this month. Rolled over to Machado at third base. He whips a toss over to first. 2 outs. All that talks for so many years about Julio and a slow start, and he's really put together so far a very good month of May.
Yeah, it really has. And again, we always talk about this, where if you can get the ball in the air, if you get the ball in the air in general, but especially on that pull side, look, the exit velo is not quite the same as what it was last year, especially the second half, but man, just getting that bat head out, being aggressive on some secondary pitches, catching that ball out in front and driving into left field. Good things happen.
Here is Josh Naylor. 2 outs, nobody on. Fouls that back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Vasquez throwing harder this year, getting more swings and misses. Last year he had the lowest strikeout rate of any starting pitcher in baseball. And this year he's more league average, which is quite the jump. This finds a leap from Song over at second base, filling it in for Jake Cronenworth on the injured list. A hard out number 3. The insurance you get brought to you by Pimco Insurance. We're looking at Emerson Hancock. Last year compared to this year, strikeout rate has jumped significantly. The expected batting average last year was among the worst in the game. Meanwhile, this year, more towards league average. I mean, it's been a drastic improvement on multiple fronts from Emerson Hancock this year.
The big difference is just simply putting hitters away. Look, he fills up the strike zone, but you get all of a sudden the 2 strikes, and the hitter can sit on something which is hittable around the plate. I mean, he had that sweeper too coming out of spring training last year. That was a pitch that he was working on. We heard all about it. Put in the back pocket, went back to the more of the typical slider that you're used to seeing him, and back to that changeup. That's been a huge difference for him and pitching at the top of the zone.
We really saw that sweeper blossom when he moved to the bullpen late last year. And it's funny, of course, what would be seemingly a demotion for a starting pitcher to go to the bullpen, and for Emerson Hancock, it turned out to be such a tremendous boost in his career. That pitch really came out when he was pitching in relief, and now he's been able to carry it, plus the good velocity as a starter.
Yeah, and sometimes taking that bullpen mentality where you're just on the attack right out of the gates into each and every start is all the difference. Remember that start he had at the end of the season? It was against the Dodgers, and I remember talking to him after that, and talking to him at the beginning of this year too. He just said, look, I'm pitching out of the stretch. I just kind of said I'm going as hard as I can for as long as I can. You know, he had no real plan to be starting 5 days after that. He just unleashed, and I think that was a huge turning point in his career.
Line into center field off the lefty bat of Gavin Sheets. First hit early on tonight for San Diego. The sweeper has been such a big part of what Hancock has done, but not lose sight of the fact that he has fallen right in line with a real Mariner mentality of leaning on that fastball. I mean, he has a 71% fastball rate this year. Of course, he has 3 of them: the four-seamer, the sinker, and the cut fastball. It's one of the highest fastball rates of any starting pitcher. Nobody can touch Cam Schlittler.
Man, he has got 3+. You talk about some variation.
But for Hancock, the velocity is there. Obviously has a feel for all 3 of them. Primarily it's the 4 and the 2-seamer.
Yeah, it is. And again, the difference is too, when we talked about dipping that arm slot just a little bit, getting more of that Brian Wu style upshoot to the top of the strike zone with that 4-seam.
Line over Donovan into left field. Randy takes it there. A couple of singles to begin the second.
But this is going to be the difference. And going back, we talked about in the open that last start. You can see this is 95. The pitch to Gavin Sheets was 95 middle of the plate. Xander Bogaerts 95 again. One thing with Emerson Hancock, when he starts to get a little side to side mechanically, a little shaky with that release point, everything ends up middle of the plate, and you see the velocity dip too down into those 95s. You're not going to see the 97. This is where he has to, again, going back to that bullpen mentality, have that. Just let it eat. Get it to the top of the strike zone. Don't try and be perfect with it.
2 really hard hit singles back-to-back Sheets and Bogaerts. Here is Andujar. One ball and 1 strike to Andujar, having a nice year. You know, it is really strange when you look at the Padres this year. They have hit the ball hard all year long. 3rd highest hard hit rate in the majors, and yet they have not performed like a lineup that has that good a contact quality. They have been, well, dead last in average. You would think if you hit the ball that hard, you would find more base hits. Steven Souza Jr., former Mariner for a brief period of time, Northwest guy, their first-year hitting coach. Line right to JP.
Well, maybe it's a lot of that right there. Leading you straight at people. But yeah, you're right. I mean, even when you look at 25th in slug, 28th OPS, this ball was scorched as well. Again, Emerson just ended up middle of the plate. Got a break right there. You see Emerson's reaction head kind of looking into the seats, knowing he missed another pitch.
So 3 hard hit balls in play by the Padres from the first 3 batters in this second. Here is Laureano. Inside out swing, and he serves it into right field. The Padres have him loaded up. Three singles here in the second. With all the fastballs that Hancock throws, how are the Padres against 4- and 2-seam fastballs this year? They've been near the bottom, both in average and in slugging, but the trend continues. They have hit the ball really hard. They've been one of the best teams in hard hit rate against fastballs this year, with not much to show for it.
Well, I think this is the time too. I mean, you look at the 3 base hits, and even the balls hit to JP from Miguel Andujar, all middle of the plate.
Here's a ground ball that finds JP, a race to second, on to first base for the double play. Emerson Hancock gets out of a jam. Pitcher's best friend, 2 for the price of 1.
Good things.
Scoreless going to the bottom of the second. Randy Arozarena leads it off for the Mariners. He has been one of the more productive hitters in baseball so far this year. As he bends out of the way. Randy batting just over 300, hitting for an average, getting on base, walking a lot. 11 stolen bases, 11 doubles as well. Both ranking near the tops in baseball. 1-1. And like a couple other guys, a monster road trip for Randy. In the air out to center. Merrill drifting just a little bit, and he's there to make the catch. Leadoff man sat down. Well, the first Mariners fireworks night of the season, May 29th. Hope you can be right here for an epic 90s themed post-game show after the Mariners take on the Diamondbacks, presented by T-Mobile and Warm 106.9. Mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets. You know, tonight doesn't feel like a fireworks kind of night, but those nights are coming, Hyphen.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. I mean, you guys are on the road. It dropped literally 30 degrees. Like, it was nice. I was sitting out watching my son play some Little League. I think I was wearing shorts, too. Next day, it's rainy, cold, and you guys get back from the road trip. I can't believe it, man.
Well, I have long said that whoever is the publisher for the Farmer's Almanac, and my dad every year got a Farmer's Almanac for Christmas. All that person who writes that book needs to do, if they're looking at the weather in Seattle, just look at the Mariners schedule.
Yeah, there you go.
For the first couple of months of the year, it's going to be nice as soon as the Mariners hit the skies. Mariners go out of town, it will be very sunny and warm. That's and you true. Can enjoy all the Little League games you want.
That is very true.
Put that paddle board on the roof of the car.
But now every year it messes with you, right? It's like, oh man, summer's coming early this year. This is great. And then boom, nope.
JP slugs this out to center field. Merrill is near the wall and he makes the catch. Vasquez a quick second and allowed out number 3.
There's so much.
Well, don't miss your chance to sit in the J-Rod squad presented by Adidas. This special section is in center field. It's available every game right here at T-Mobile Park. And on Tuesdays and on Fridays, you can score this exclusive no-fly zone t-shirt. Mariners.com/J-Rod. Freddie Fermin leading things off. Number 9 hitting catcher for the Padres. San Diego winning all 3 at Petco not long ago. Nothing at 2. Well, Hancock got in some hot water in the second. He loaded the bases up. 3 singles by the Padres, but a double play ball to end the inning and get Hancock out of a jam. He's ahead 0-2.
You see that hitter creeping up 96. We talked about watching the velocity dip a little bit. You mentioned that last inning, staying middle of the plate. Able to get that sweeper. Able to get that double play. Finish off the second.
Rolled over, foul. Fermin, for so many years coming up in the big leagues, was with the Kansas City Royals. Was the backup for Salvador Perez. Now has a chance to play most every day with San Diego. 0-2 again. Does he go? Yes, he does. There's that good sweeper. Second strikeout. The first strikeout from Hancock began the game was against this man, Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, a guy who has struggled with that hit and run. They're just trying to attack him up and away with that little four seam that has that run to it. Went to the one changeup, but again, staying in the same spot. Finally got that swing and miss. But this is the difference, right? I wasn't, again, you're not talking about being at the very top of the strike zone, but just the conviction and the aggressiveness from Emerson Hancock. And you see that velocity start to get up there, 96, 97 consistently.
Well, Hancock has been on the attack all year. He has one of the highest first pitch strike rates in baseball. He has one of the lowest walk rates in the majors. And it does kind of beg the question, which comes first, right? I mean, he's had this incredible stuff this year. The fastball's played up. The sweeper is there. Is he on the attack because he's got even better swing and miss stuff this year? Is that giving him more of the mindset that he can go right after guys?
I think so. I think when straight out the gates, and this goes back to spring training, it's not something where you throw these bullpens. They're like, look, check out the iPad, check out the TrackMan. This is going to profile. You have to see it from 60 feet away. And sometimes you see it a little bit in spring training, but you get it here under lights when the games count. And you get some of that swing and miss early, your confidence goes through the roof, and you know you can stay in the zone, especially coming off. You know it's in your face. You know exactly the fact that you can fill up the strike zone, you've got good command, but you simply have nothing really to put hitters away. That's why the sweeper was such a priority last year, and you couldn't quite get over the hump. The one thing, though, with Emerson, last start, even the starts prior to that, having all that success, he has these little bouts as this pitch count starts to get up there, where he loses that feel of that release point. We've seen those sweepers go to the backstop a few times. We've asked him about it.
Well, I walked into the clubhouse 2 road trips ago in St. Louis and went over to talk to Emerson. And before I could even say hello to Emerson, he looked at me and he said, "What are you going to say tomorrow when I throw into the backstop,
Right.
Goldie?"
Is that mum and dad like telling Emerson hi mum and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Hancock? Are they listening to
who we met, by the way, in St. Louis.
Okay.
And unsurprisingly, they were Hall of Fame caliber people.
I'm sure.
Just like Emerson is. It was very funny.
I mean, are they texting him saying, "Hey, by the way, there's 2 numbskulls up in the booth. Keep making fun of you for throwing the ball at the backstop."
We haven't seen it too much recently.
Yeah.
Three-two. Oh, he put him away. Back-to-back strikeouts.
Now this pitch is filthy. Look, this is classified as a cutter, but it's just staying on the side of that ball. Look at that movement. 83. And especially too when you're attacking Jackson Merrill up and away. And you break one of those off, good luck.
Well, this is a big storyline for the Padres. Last year, the 3rd lowest strikeout rate in baseball. This year, they're up 20 spots, 23rd highest strikeout rate. It's the largest increase by any team. Jump throw, and Naylor on the receiving end. And Tatis is out on another gem from Cole Young at second base. Worth another look. It's a Friday night at T-Mobile Park, which means we're over the airs. So we say hello to King 5's Chris Egan. Chris, where are you tonight?
Aaron, what another tough assignment for me tonight. I'm in the pen. It is college night tonight. Are we having fun tonight here in the pen? Aaron, I'm feeling very old. I've been called Mr. Egan 5 times already tonight. These students having fun here tonight in the pen. They put down the computers and they're here at the ballpark with the Mariners exclusive college night offer. Students can snag Mariners tickets for less than $15. Now, if you missed it tonight, don't worry. The next college night, Friday, May 29th. Get here early for a special pregame happy hour. Hey, let's send it back to Aaron in the booth. Wild times in the pen, Aaron. Back to you, my friend.
It seems like a very studious group out there. They could use a break as Canzone gets aboard.
I mean, that last camera shot, they couldn't even pick him up. He was just getting mobbed out there, Mr. Egan.
A good thing he's in yellow.
Yeah.
Well, good look out there, Chris. There we go, Chris.
Love it.
Definitely Chris's scene. So Canzone's aboard. That brings up Cole Young with that fantastic play to end the top half of the inning. That backs him up for ball 1. First hit tonight, first base runner for the Mariners, Canzone. Pulled sharply foul. Ball to strike to Young. Oh, there we go. That's a nice gesture on a Friday night. Machado out. Bogarts calling for this one. Wow, that. I don't know if that's exactly how he drew it up, but it works out. Xander Bogaerts reaches behind him and makes the catch.
Yeah, he was taking all the control out here. Ramon Laureano bearing down. Now, again, that's kind of his priority, especially when you're getting out there on the outfield grass. But just so aggressive, nearly overran it. Oh, nice play.
Boy.
Xander Bogaerts getting up there a little bit in age, but still showing that athleticism.
Here is Pareda. Now Pareda figures to be with the team for a little while now. Cal on the injured list, of course. And they were really encouraged by the MRI on Cal's oblique. It was not nearly as bad as they thought it could be. In fact, they made it sound like the imaging was better this time than when he last had the oblique pop up and had to sit down for a few days. So they don't think it will be a prolonged absence for Cal Raleigh, which is tremendous news.
I think he has to be the toughest guy on this roster to try and slow play and make sure he's 100% healthy, right? Knowing how badly he just wants to be out there and obviously, you know, take command behind the plate. Everything he did last year. But that was tough to see him on that road trip. You were there, obviously, Aaron, watching him go down on that play.
Yeah, clearly uncomfortable, and then having to leave the game not long after that. 2-2 on Pareda. So he will be shut down for a week, and then they will reevaluate. Strike 3 called, and let's see if there's a challenge. No, there's not. That was a borderline pitch. 2 outs. Now a message from Hyundai.
Tech that lets you be you, how it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
That was a pretty good strike 3 call by Bill Miller.
That was big.
I could see Hyphen with a little fist pump on the mound if you got one of those. Yeah. Let's see another one of those, huh, Bill?
The heart rate up a little bit. He's been doing it for a while too. He was fired up back there.
Back to the top of the order. Here is Donovan. Donovan skies this deep center field. Merrill at the track and now comes in to make the catch. Second deep fly out by the Mariners to center field. You can watch Mariners baseball all season long with Mariners TV. Fans at Washington, Oregon, Montana, Idaho, Alaska, and Hawaii can stream regular season games for just $89.99 for the rest of the season. National exclusivities apply. Mariners.tv to start streaming. Scoreless beginning the 4th. Machado leads it off. Batting under 200 so far this season. 6 home runs. And you look at Machado last year compared to this year on the fastball, there is a stark contrast. Over 100-point drop off with the batting average. The slugging has cratered significantly. And the barrel rate really stands out, among other things.
Yeah, he's really struggled. Went back and looked at some of the numbers he's had coming off of the World Baseball Classic years. 2023 for Machado, this year as well. One adjustment he's trying to make is with those hands. He talked about that fastball.
This is out to right field on a fastball, but caught by Raley, one away.
He's just trying to get on top of that pitch right there. He didn't do a bad job, but he's gone back and forth the last couple of series. Hands are going down, they're going back up. Just trying to get comfortable out the gates for Manny Machado. But you talked about that offense right in the middle of it. It's him, it's Fernando Tatis with a lack of power.
Well, yeah, if somebody told a Padres fan that in the middle of May, Merrill, Tatis, and Machado would have combined for 10 home runs,
yeah,
they would know that there would be a problem. Gavin Sheets batting, 1 out, nobody on. Sheets has been one of the most productive hitters for the Padres this year. Hancock falls behind 2-1. 3 strikeouts for Emerson so far. Pulled down the line and into the crowd, out of play. Foul ball, 2-2.
That's the way you got to be careful. I hit 3-2, try and beat him with a fastball. Hit one hard that last at bat. He can cheat to that pitch. He's back to the cutter. And Gavin Sheets, man, he found a home. You think about his time with the White Sox in that environment. He's been pretty public about it, just with all those rebuild years. Obviously, they're a little bit different this year offensively, but coming to the Padres last year, and the environment has made all the difference for him.
He's a guy that can really cover outside the plate. Chases a little bit more than league average, but when he does, makes a lot of contact and does not swing and miss a whole lot. He has found a new beginning with these Padres. Hancock trying to put him away on a 3-2. Another foul ball.
Yeah, a little late on that heater.
Right over the plate, too.
Yeah, against the Brewers, too. I was watching that last series. Uribe tried to get a slider after you fouled off a bunch of fastballs. He ended up getting that bat head out. You mentioned that contact rate. Got to be really careful here in the 3-2 count.
Oh, there's one of them.
There it is.
And that is ball 4. A message from Papa Murphy's.
New Detroit-style pizza has arrived. Get your Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Detroit-style mini cup pepperoni or create your own 2-topping pizza, just $10.99 for a limited time.
So a little too much sweep on that sweeper. Goes behind Sheets. 1 out, 1 on. First walk tonight from Hancock. Now looking at Xander Bogaerts.
And watch how these next handful of pitches look after that pitch. If he can get that command back. And look at the velocity too. If he's trying to feel his way through that release point, you'll see that velo and the four seam drop down to 93s, 95s, but good sign right there. 96, middle of the plate. Well, not the best sweeper, but that counts. But again, just going back to, again, when you lower that arm slot like he has, there's just times where you just kind of lose that natural feel for it. And that's where you see those balls get back to that backstop, where you see that stint where he can't find the strike zone for a batter or two.
0-2. Bogaerts hit a rocket single his last time up. Padres loaded the bases in the second, but Hancock got a double play ball to end the inning. Julio angling to his left, nearing the warning track, and he makes the catch on the track. Bogaerts flies out, 2 down.
Yeah, this ball was hit hard too. Got just above the barrel, just enough. Man, Xander staying right through that. You can see the reaction too. Felt like he just missed it. But with Emerson Hancock, one of the big keys for him, when he starts to lose that feel, less is more. Just try and go down the mound, stay on line towards the hitter, towards the catcher's mask.
In terms of not overcooking a pitch?
Yeah, because look, again, and I've talked to him about this a couple times this year. You're trying to get a natural feel when you move down the mound, right? Keep everything synced up when you change in an arm slot as drastic as he has. And again, you get the ball fired back to that Fred Meyer sign behind the plate a couple times. And then what happens is it gets in the back of your mind a little bit where you're trying to be perfect and get that feel. And then you slow down because you're over processing a little bit.
Jammed him, fouls it back, 96. 0-2 still on Andujar, having a nice year.
But then you get to a count like this 0-2 and you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to fly down the mound, get those 2 fingers on top of this sweeper and get that big swing and miss down and away.
0-2. It's low. Sheets tiptoes into second. His third bag in as many tries. Runner in scoring position, 2 outs. And now Hancock steps off. And Duhar, a first-year Padre, last year with the Athletics and the Reds. Now in his 10th big league season. Awkward looking swing, fouls it back. Two outs, go ahead run at second base in the 4th inning. 1-2. Line over JP's glove into left field. Sheets is on his way home to score as this finds the wall and splits the gap. And Duhar, a 2-out RBI double, and it's 1-0 San Diego in the 4th inning.
Man, look at Duhar. He's been known for this, where he can make really good contact, especially with 2 strikes. I mean, that's a good piece of hitting right there. It wasn't a bad pitch from Emerson. Maybe sailed a little bit inside the strike zone, a little bit too long, especially after that 96 at the top of the strike zone. And Duhar, we've seen him with the Athletics, AL West, with the Yankees there for a few years. I'm trying to find him a position, man, because he is hitting really well in this lineup.
That brings up Ramon Laureano. Last time the Mariners saw the Padres, Laureano was batting at the top of the order. He was red hot. He's cooled down now. Batting 7th tonight for San Diego. Does have 5 home runs. He bats with that Duhar at second base. 2 outs. Swing and a miss. He blows a fastball past him for out number 3. Padres take the lead. Mariners try to get that run back. Julio leads things off.
At T-Mobile,
Padres have taken a 1-0 lead. Julio leads off the bottom of the 4th for the Mariners. Naylor and Arozarena to follow. Randy Vasquez on the mound tonight for the Padres. Going through the order for the 2nd time. It is a really deep pitch mix for Vasquez. 7 pitches that he offers.
Hey, look at that. I mean, just different variations too. One thing he did this offseason was work with Hugh Darvish. And that's kind of been the theme with some of these Padre pitchers that have been in San Diego. Ruben Niebla, the pitching coach, is really hands-on when they get away from the season. He has a pitching lab down there in San Diego. There he is. He's done some really good work with some, especially some new guys who have come in. Nick Pivetta being one of them. He's on the IL, but Hugh Darvish, who is on the restricted list, but had a big hand with Vasquez in regards to some of the grips, some of the mentality, some of the mechanical cues, getting him to get that chase. You mentioned the lack of chase he got last year. It's been a complete 180, a ton of swing and miss. A lot of chase out of the strike zone for Randy Vasquez.
The starting pitching situation for the Padres is a tough one. So the restricted list sounds like a really bad thing. Darvish is recovering from elbow surgery, so his future in the game is very unclear.
Yeah,
but I would say the Padres are not planning on having him pitch this year, is certainly what it seems like as Julio gets caught looking. We've got a 2-day Josh Naylor bobblehead giveaway Monday and Tuesday. First 10,000 fans of the White Sox are in town. Brought to you by your Western Washington Toyota dealers. Mariners.com/tickets. So Darvish you figure will not throw a pitch this year for San Diego. He's almost 40 years old and coming off of elbow surgery this offseason. Matt Waldron was just placed on the IL. Nick Pivetta and Joe Musgrove are also on the injured list. There's 4 starting pitchers that they are without. A couple of those names pretty notable.
Yeah, right. I mean, especially Joe Musgrove too. He was the dude there. I mean, he's getting up in there in Lance McCullers territory in regards to how long he's taken getting back on the mound. It's been a couple of years for him.
Nothing in 2 on Naylor. 1 out, bases empty, bottom of the 4th inning. The Desert Storm camo Jordans for Naylor. On the Salute to Armed Forces weekend. Merrill's calling for this, and it was Laureano who makes the catch. I had no idea.
You can have a look at this play. Little jump. Was he trying to skip over Jackson Merrill?
In steps Randy. So 2 up and 2 down for Vasquez here in the 4th. Mariners have just 1 hit. That was a Canzone single. He was stranded at first base. Vasquez pitching much better today than he did against the Mariners back in mid-April.
Now you showcased Josh Naylor's the desert camo. I mean, look at Randy. He's coordinated. He's got the darker green camo.
With the socks, with the gloves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Did Josh think they're going more of a desert?
It's just that kind of guy. You know, he spent some time in Arizona.
Fair enough. Yeah.
2-2. Flicks this into left field for a base hit. 2-out single for Randy. Down to the Ford Sports Desk. Angie.
As you guys mentioned, Randy just spot on tonight with the green cleats tying in with the socks and the hat. But Naylor was literally, I mean, he was stressed before this game because he had the brown desert camo, but he was like, this doesn't match with the green. Like, I can't go with this. And he went through all of the boxes. He got on a ladder, went through the boxes up above his locker, trying to find something that would match with the green. And ultimately, yes, he did go with the desert camo. And I think he's pulling it off.
As he typically does.
Yes. I mean, look at that. They are sweet, man. It's got nails on the. I mean, I want to know what the process is like, Goldie, with getting these shoes. When you contact your rep or your agent or whoever and say, look, this is what I'm. I mean, you literally have to look ahead on the calendar and know the dates and the events. Not to mention the fact we know about Josh Naylor and the famous shoe collection.
You gotta have a shoe guy. A good shoe guy knows your calendar.
Yeah, they're going to know the calendar, and obviously Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever it may be. Man, I mean, the effort. Think about that.
I'm just keeping track of them all.
Yeah.
Ball and a strike to Raley. Now 10 home runs this year for Luke Raley. Randy gets back. Randy taking second base. The throw, he headlong slide, and Randy is safe. He stays on the bag, man, not by much.
I mean, we've seen this so many times that guys slide really aggressive. Look at that jump. He got 2, big lead. I think too, when Vasquez threw over a couple times, obviously you get that extra look. We know about the 3 times you can throw over the first base. Excuse me, the 2 times. They're able just to keep that left hand on that sliding pad. Wow. On that bag, wow.
Well, you are allowed to throw over 3 times.
That's right.
But if you throw the 3rd time and you don't get them, it's considered a balk.
Have we seen that yet?
Yeah, we have. Okay. It's happened when a pitcher loses track of how many times he throws over.
Okay. I will say I thought that rule was going to be way more, I'm not saying detrimental to pitchers, but way more of a factor than what it has been, to be honest with you.
And hit him. Raley hit by a pitch.
Well, I guess we saw it just there too. I mean, Randy with that, how big of a lead he had, and a huge jump, taking off, knowing that Vasquez had already thrown a couple times. But and what this does too for Randy Vasquez, you can tell the pitch quality. You see Ruben Niebla going out there just trying to slow him down. He picks over a couple times, crowd gets into it. Randy swipes that bag, throws him off his game just enough. He starts spraying the ball all over the place. It's a chance for JP, be patient, getting that good count, do some damage.
A visit here with 2 outs and 2 on. Mariners with a man in scoring position for the first time. Tonight's Home Depot working on a win. J.P. Crawford against the Astros. 5 hits, driving in 4. Chance to tie this game up, if not give the Mariners the lead. Strike 1. EQC Tracer has that just at the bottom of the zone. Two outs, 2 on an 0-2. Three straight heaters to Crawford. First and second, 2 outs. Here comes the JP. Good speed at second in a Rosarena. Another 1-2. Good take. Bill Miller doing a little landscaping there with J.P. Crawford. Popped up, Machado calling for this, going up the line into left, and the Mariners strand 2. On to the 4th. Padres have a 1-0 lead. On to the 5th, I beg your pardon. Well, here are our Holland America Line fans of the game. They're enjoying the game tonight and depart from Pier 91 in Seattle tomorrow on a cruise to Alaska with Holland America.
Nice.
I'd say that vacation's already off to a nice start.
You a big cruise guy, Dalton?
That seems like such a natural question, Hyphen.
I could see you. I mean, I don't know. Are we talking, the Alaska cruise, or are we talking a little bit more tropical for Goldie?
Do you think is it a different demographic whether you're going Alaska versus tropical?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Now, I know the demographic.
So you're not a big cruise guy, if you don't know the answer to
I
that.
haven't been on a. I went on a cruise when I was a kid. I barely remember it. It was called the Alexander Pushkin. I don't know how. I don't know how fancy it was. I'm not gonna lie. It was more of a tropical cruise.
The Alexander Pushkin.
That's right. Look it up.
We need to find a way to incorporate that into the broadcast more often. Now, if I were to use the Alexander Pushkin in some reference or even a call, would it be something great or would it be something not so great?
I mean, look, I don't want to sit here and,
slam the Pushkin.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, no, it was fun. I mean, I remember as a kid, but some of the boats now are ridiculous, man. You see some of these things, it's like a city on water. You know?
I mean, something that a man of your stature would be fine being seen on.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on
where it's
who
going.
you're stuck with for like a week or whatever. Yeah.
Still 3-2. Song leading things off in the fifth.
I can see you on a Disney cruise this off season.
I'm without my family, obviously.
Yeah.
Just like a bro trip.
That's right.
The 3-2. Another foul ball. Sung Moon Song, the number 8 hitting second baseman for the Padres. Jake Cronenworth is on the IL, their normal second baseman. So Song feeling in. Just over Emerson. Donovan on the run, and it's wide. They call him out. It looked like it got past and maybe even out of the glove of Naylor, but he held on to it and kept his feet on the bag. Let's see. Song is saying, you should take a look at this. He's not moving. He was called out.
And even too, I mean,
wow.
From that Padres bench as well, some of the coaches down there were looking saying, hey, did you call it out or safe?
I'll call it first.
Yeah, did that foot come off the bag? Yes. Well, our first base umpire, Brian Walsh, you can tell from that angle, he probably couldn't tell that that foot came off the bag.
Maybe had Steven Souza Jr. down in that dugout looking at saying, hey, did you call it safe or out? And putting his hands up like this, and mentioned Walsh, the first base umpire, was like, no, I called him out. And it should be pretty easily overturned. You saw Josh Naylor as well, by the way. You mentioned the foot coming off the bag, tried to deke Song right there to turn the corner. You can see him. Yeah, the foot's easily off the bag as he catches that ball.
After review, the call in the field is overturned. The runner is safe. San Diego will retain their count.
We got a feisty Friday night crowd on hand here.
Fired up. They didn't get all the looks that we did. Goldie, I'm sure, up on that big board out there in center field. Maybe the spike, maybe the cleats threw him off there. He couldn't see the camo.
A Song taken off as his pitch is fouled away. Strike 1-2 for me.
And the Padres been aggressive on the bases too. Emerson getting a little predictable. I'm not saying he's slow to the plate, but just kind of coming up in that set position and then being predictable to the plate, not changing his times up a little bit.
Ball and strike. Well, you do have the top of the order coming up next. Merrill, Tatis, Machado. For me, the 9-hitter. On the ground, JP, little flip, Young on to first base in a double play. The second one turned tonight behind Emerson Hancock.
This is absolutely huge. Look, I know it's a 9-hole hitter, but you mentioned the fact that the top of the lineup's coming up for that third look against Emerson Hancock. You had a little bit of that delay with that call being overturned. Now all of a sudden he's sitting pretty with that pitch count in the mid-70s here in the 5th inning with 2 outs.
So 2 outs, bases empty, top of the order, Merrill.
He's got Jackson Merrill caught in between with that fastball. He punched him out with that first at bat. And that cutter, that second at bat, you can just tell how behind, how tight he is on that fastball right now, trying to protect against that cutter and that sweeper coming in on those hands.
Two.
You see right there that cutter has been lethal, especially that one at 83, 84 mile per hour for Emerson Hancock. See if he tries to beat him with a fastball at the top of the zone right here.
It was a fastball, but just got way too much of the plate.
And that's a pitch he has struggled with this year in Jackson Merrill, that plus fastball, but you got to get it up like that.
Well, he does exactly that. He strikes out Merrill for the 3rd time tonight. Faces the minimum in the 5th.
Welcome back. Angie Mentick with you at the Ford Sports Desk. We are headed to the bottom of the 5th inning. Well, yesterday, Matt Brash had a rehab outing. He was absolutely perfect. He threw a 1-2-3 ninth, guys. He threw 15 pitches. He actually told me that he didn't face a righty. All 3 of them were lefties, but he said he felt really good. His velo felt good. And then he was telling me, remember how he was telling us how, hey, did you add anything? And he's like, oh, yeah, changeup. Well, he's added something new. He's got 2 different sliders. He's got his normal slider. He wasn't getting the horizontal movement that he wanted on that pitch, so he started throwing a spike slider. So he basically spikes that pointer finger. He says he wants to take the pointer finger off of the baseball because bad things happen when he was leaving it on the baseball. He was losing his spin. But last night, he threw both sliders, and we're thrilled with both of them, both doing very different things. His normal slider really kind of going up and away, and then that spike slider with more of that downward movement on it, guys.
A really nice play by Bogarts there to take a hit away. Canzone trying to leg out an infield base hit. Dan Wilson waiting to hear from the video room as he should challenge on our Snoqualmie Supermo here.
You also Xander Bogarts cover some ground into left field, making that really nice play. Let's see if they want to.
No challenge.
No challenge here, but yeah, clearly. Man, what a nice play from Xander there at shortstop.
I've not heard of a spike slider, Hyphen.
I have no, neither have I. Remember the kick change last year was a big one. Obviously the spiking that finger on that curveball was a big one as well, but nevertheless, I mean, Matt Brash coming back and being already seeing game action this quickly is a great sign. You remember back in Minnesota, man, he did not look good. He seemed pretty emotional when he came off the mound and wasn't quite sure what was going on with that lat. But that is a massive sign. Look, the bullpen was good on this road trip, but at some point, it's going to be razor thin if you don't have that man right there setting up for Andres Munoz and Gabe Spire, who hopefully too spoke to him before the game. Said shoulders feeling good. Threw off the mound, I believe, yesterday. So that's a great sign as well. Get the back end of that bullpen back.
Well, the bullpen's been so good for the Mariners, but currently is so short-handed. They were able to get Ferrer back today. He and his wife celebrated the birth of their first child, a baby girl. 3-1 on Young. Young out to the gap in right center field, and this finds the base of the wall. Extra bases, Cole Young. He stands up at second with a double.
Well, Cole Young had a tougher road trip, that's for sure, but this is a cutter that kind of leaked out over the middle of the plate. Now, one thing that Randy Vasquez, we talked about some of the swing and miss this year, has been, you only have the 3 strikeouts, but this is a pitch, got around the side of that ball, and Cole Young taking full advantage with a double.
Runner at second, 1 away for Pareda. Line drive, left field, and Laureano slides, tumbles, and he makes the catch. And Young was off and running. He gets doubled up. A base running mistake, and the Mariners run their way out of the 5th inning. This was a tough way for the 5th inning to come to an end for the Mariners.
Yeah, and you feel like with Randy Vasquez, the more looks he gets, and he's starting to leak out over the middle of the plate. What a catch by Laureano. That ball was scorched from Pareda. Woo, really handcuffed. Oh, just trapped that ball as well. I mean, Cole Young, tip your cap. Nothing you can do as you round the third base.
Well, he just didn't have a good view of the ball. I mean, that was a play where he should have waited to see if that ball was caught or not.
That's a good point, I guess, too. Yeah. I mean, yeah, as that ball was hit.
Donovan handles this.
I mean, right away you're thinking there's no way that ball's staying up, but it was hit so hard they just kind of had that those legs, and Laureano was able to keep it.
I mean, he clearly wrongly either thought that it was to the gap and out of his range, or that it was going to definitively touch down for a hit before Laureano was able to get there.
Yeah, and again, that ball just had that extra little backspin carry all the way out to where Laureano was playing.
We've seen Laureano make a lot of catches over the years, so many seasons in Oakland with the A's, and now getting things done out there in left field with the Padres. Here is Machado. 0-2. Hancock getting into the 6th inning. Pitch count at 85 right now. Julio is there, coasting back to make the catch. 2 up and 2 down. On August 8th, the Mariners are hosting one of the biggest events of the year. It's 50 season celebration night presented by Daktronics. You can witness an iconic gathering of franchise greats as the top 50 Mariners players are unveiled. Mariners.com/50. Bullpen is up for the Mariners with 2 outs in the 6th. Criswell has been warming.
There's been plenty of flush contact against Emerson Hancock. Little fastballs middle of the plate from these Padres, but just right up some people. Get some double plays when he's needed it. Here he is, 87 pitches into the 6th. 2 outs.
One and 1 to Sheets. He's been aboard twice today. He has singled and walked. He has scored the Padres' lone run. Golfed into the corner. This is down the line and foul. The only run in this game was a 2-out RBI double from Miguel Andujar back in the 4th inning. That scored Sheets from second. He walked and then stole. Blows him away. 96 upstairs. Strikeout number 6 for Emerson Hancock. 1 run over 6 innings tonight. A full house tonight inside T-Mobile Park for the Vetter Cup Series. Game number 4 of the season-long series between these two teams. Brennan Donovan leads things off. Donovan in the air, deep out to center field. Merrill in front of the track, and Donovan flies out to his glove for the 2nd straight at-bat. 1 away. Don't miss Julio Rodriguez 90s jersey night at the end of the month. The first 15,000 fans will take home this 90s inspired hyphen-approved sleeveless jersey on May 30th.
I love this.
Thanks to KeyBank, Mariners.com/tickets to get yours.
I'm definitely getting myself one of them. Some unlucky fan's going to rock up. I'm going to take the last one from them.
I eagerly await seeing you in a hotel gym with that on.
Yeah.
Here is Julio.
Doing my Pilates over the corner.
On the ground, backhand Bogarts. Strong throw. 3 pitches and 2 away.
We talked about Emerson Hancock being efficient. Look at this, 70 pitches. Look at the pitches by inning. Just that 4th inning, 25. Besides that, has been absolutely in cruise control right now for Randy Vasquez. And the tough part of this too, we know about the Mariners, how good that bullpen's been. The backhand for this Padres bullpen is absolutely lethal. Some of those names bridging the gap to get to Mason Miller. As you see Morahone will start to warm up.
Yeah, Morahone is like the 4th reliever you would talk about with the Padres, and I feel like he's never allowed a base runner for the Mariners.
Right.
I mean, he is
lefty with
just nasty
stuff. Yeah.
1-1. This is one of the best bullpens in baseball, specifically the back end of the bullpen. And when they get the lead, they do not give it back very often. Morahone is up. Raley would bat after Randy's. That's who Morahone is warming up for. Should it get that far. There are 2 outs. Mason Miller there in the middle of your screen. Well, tough to tell which one's in the middle. The guy on the left was Miller. On the ground and a base hit. 2-out single to keep the line moving.
And Josh Naylor just wears that spot out. Pitches that aren't in the middle of the plate so much. I mean, this pitch was, look, top part of the strike zone, but man, he can just stay through that. I remember Angie talking about this that last homestand, where all of a sudden he started shooting that ball to left field, letting it get a little deeper. Staying up the middle.
All right, last batter you'd have to imagine for Vasquez here. Go ahead, run at the plate, Randy. And misses high. Not much traction tonight for the Mariners lineup against Vasquez. Now Stammen is well aware of what Luke Raley has done recently, as this is being challenged.
The catcher's challenging to call a ball.
For me, thinking that this was a strike, and it was very much a ball.
Pitch was a ball. San Diego has 1 challenge remaining.
4 hits tonight for the Mariners off Vasquez. Only 1 for extra bases. That was Young's double. 3rd time through the order. 2-0. That's in there for a strike. Randy 1 for 2 tonight. A throw and a little wide. That might have helped Naylor some. Yeah, Vasquez is saying my bad.
Josh Naylor with a huge lead. Seeing him a bit more aggressive as this season's gone on. So him jumping off his bag, jumping off. Ooh.
On a 2-1. Evens the count. That was right over the plate.
Yeah, that cutter for Randy Vasquez. We talked about that heater, getting that extra velocity, but that pitch, you can just see how off balance some of these swings have been against that pitch, even inside the strike zone.
Ground ball, and that might have gone right through his legs. Picked up at second base by Song to retire the side. After 6 innings, 1 run scored to the Padres.
I've been known.
Mariners TV is brought to you by Holland America. Convenient round trip departures from Seattle and #1 in Alaska Wildlife and Wilderness Tours. And by Global Credit Union, powering the new Seattle Mariners cashback credit card. Apply for yours at globalcu.org. Well, there's a little ray of sunshine out there with the roof closed. Our pitching comparison tonight. Both starters going 6. Both guys pitching really well.
Yeah.
Hancock allowing just the 1 run.
Yeah, and Hancock really, I'm not even going to call it a mistake. Pretty good sweeper to Andujar with 2 strikes. Able to barrel that ball up into left field. But a lot of hard contact against Emerson Hancock. Still the 6 strikeouts. Once he got above the strikeout, he got that sweeper and that cutter over. He was in good shape, but really nice outing. 6 innings. And bouncing back nicely too, right? I was going to get into this with the Luis Castillo and the Bryce Miller crowding up that rotation. We've talked about the piggyback situation. So every start for Emerson Hancock still essentially under a microscope here as they have to make some decisions coming up in these next couple of weeks.
Donovan has it. Bogarts is out. Cooper Criswell is the new pitcher on the mound for the Mariners.
Cooper Criswell, look, we know about him being is Emerson started with his time with the Red Sox and in the past, but man, he's done a nice job here in some of these tight games. Mariners down by a run.
Well, 2 things he's done very well. That's one of them. Ground balls. High ground ball pitcher. And also he's really limited the walks. Another ground ball. This one's got some eyes on it. And Duhar is aboard his 2nd hit.
Again, more hard contact from these Padres. We'll stand up the middle on the ground.
One out, 1 on. Here is Laureano. That sweeper, a little bit of a knee buckler for Laureano. Strike 1. Duhar taken off. This pitch is laced into left field, and Duhar makes the turn into 3rd. And starting with the pitch, he gets in there easily. So runners on the corners now. Padres threatening to add on.
Yeah, this talk about the ground ball rate. This ball just kind of staying on plane. Laureano getting in on those hands, just ripping into left field, keeping those hands inside that ball.
One out, 1st and 3rd. Song squares to bunt and bunts it back. Foul. Oh, 2.
Now that's huge right there. You see Song in a situation where he's trying to lay a bunt down. You know, you looking at that going, you know what? Give me an out right there and I can go after Freddie Fermin, who's on deck. Now all of a sudden he decides to swing. Now he's down 0-2. Got to make a pitch right here.
On the ground, Naylor has it, and now a race over to first base. He gets there for the out, but a run does score. And Duhar crosses the plate. It's 2-0 Padres.
Yeah, if you Cooper Criswell right here, you're frustrated that because Song makes such good contact. A really good at bat up and in. Naylor doing a good job. He's playing in. Keep that ball in the infield.
Laureano into second on the play. Strike one for me. Naylor chasing after this one out of the track and out of room on the other side of the screen. Thumbs up there. 0-2.
Solid effort right here. See how much where this ball actually landed.
I think Josh appreciated the support right there. Two outs, man at second. Top of the order is next. Criswell trying to take care of Fermin and send this one to the 7th inning stretch. Weekly cued, and he'll do exactly that. Retires the side. A man left. A run does score, though. The Padres lead it 2-0. Mariners TV is brought to you by the Washington Lottery. Washington's lottery helps fund the Washington Grant. Free money for college, training, or apprenticeships. We welcome you to the Ford Sports Desk. Inside the booth, Aaron Goldsmith alongside Ryan Roland Smith. And Hyphen, this is when things get really tough.
Yeah.
The Padres now go to their leverage arms. The Mariners down 2-0.
Yeah, and this is really their strength with the Padres. Look, they're having a really good year where they sit in the standings in the NL West, that's for sure. But offensively, we kind of saw it tonight. Plenty of hard contact, not much doing. Emerson Hancock really only making that one mistake. But you mentioned it, you know, all of a sudden you got Morejon coming in for this 7th. And then you're going to bridge that gap to get to Mason Miller, who has been pretty much perfect as the closer for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, you really, when you play the Padres, you have to think of it. It's an 8-inning game.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
when you get to the 9th, the game's over.
Yeah, for sure. And look at Morejon's the splits. It's been a little bit of a struggle for him. You mentioned how nasty he is, which he is, that's for sure. And you look how tough he is on lefties. You're going to see a righty coming up in Connor Joe. Do the pinch hitter right here, but you see the righties doing some work against him at 346. Just trying to get some base runners. Down by 2.
Yeah, Morejon, high strikeout, low walk, high ground ball, and a triple-digit nearly fastball. So he's got a lot of weapons and a lot of ways he can get you out. But the Mariners playing the splits here, and you can understand why. Right-handed bat of Connor Joe to lead things off. Outside ball 1. That's very close. Borderline pitch called a strike. EQC Tracer has that just clipping the edge.
Ooh. Yeah, it's that changeup. That pitch just hasn't been as effective this year against righties like it was last year. But again, it's not like Connor Joe's walking up going, oh, well, righties hitting 350 against him. This is going to be fun. It's a tough at-bat regardless. That's why playing off the bench is so tough.
2-1.
Because usually you're going to come in a leverage situation, so you're going to get the toughest arms out of that bullpen for the most part.
That took a good pass at a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Good take.
Yeah, it was. Again, that's that changeup. That's a pitch that just has not been a weapon, especially with 2 strikes. Righties just haven't been biting at that pitch against Morejon, the same as what we've seen the last couple of years.
JP on deck, then Refsnyder will bat. He will pinch hit for Canzone. 100 that time. There is Refsnyder. Ball 4 takes 99 up out of the zone. Joe, a walk to lead off the inning. Now a message from the Washington beef farmers and ranchers.
Win or lose, it's really about how you feed the game, right? Together, we bring more. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Well, I mentioned Morejon doesn't walk many, but he walks Joe to begin the bottom of the 7th. Tying run at the plate now in J.P. Crawford. Tough left on left. Upstairs, ball 1. Count evens. Pops this up. Song at second. He's underneath it. 1 out. Here's Refsnyder. He's batting for Canzone.
Again, just like that Connor Joe at bat, if you can recognize that changeup, he threw a couple to Connor Joe. He's able to sit on that hitter because you're seeing something, some kind of variation on that changeup. That pitch that Morejon just couldn't land. Quick little scouting report with Freddie Fermin out on the mound. Again, righty's been doing some damage against him. That's why that ERA is bloated. Such a tough lefty.
One out, 1 on. Tying run at the plate in Refsnyder. Canzone done after going 1 for 2 tonight. Jeremiah Estrada warming up inside the Padres bullpen. Another hard thrower. That is as much of a pitcher's pitch as you can find.
Yeah.
Man.
And there's nothing you can do with that pitch.
That is absolute triple-digit pain. Fouls that away middle end. Still 0-2. You don't see too many lefties with 100, even in today's game. Another 0-2 inside,
especially with that kind of command as well to go with it. See him just wearing out down and in. Rob Refsnyder, you know, you got that. You got to respect that changeup, which is down and away, the other side of the plate.
He got him. Filthy changeup, strikes out Refsnyder. 2 outs.
Again, I talked about that change. This ball kind of cut a little bit, but really doesn't matter. It's more of the speed differential right there. It's low 90s. It's a tough at bat.
Left on left here with Cole Young. This chops over to first base. Sheets has it. Morejon spins a scoreless 7th, and the Mariners have been shut out through 7 frames tonight in Game 1 against the Padres.
Summers.
Well, this smile moment is brought to you by Delta Dental of Washington, supporting healthy smiles across Washington. Hoping from a come-from-behind win tonight in Game 1 inside T-Mobile Park. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Jose Ferrer has the 8th. Mariners are trailing 2-0. Ferrer with a bit of a fresh arm. Was just activated. Spent some time away from the team as he and his wife celebrated the birth of their first child, a baby girl.
And congratulations to Jose, but man, just multiple roles he has pitched in, whether it be multiple innings, a couple saves thrown in there, filling some of those gaps with this bullpen.
Yeah, if you look at it, it's not very often, especially with as short-handed as the bullpen is because of the injuries to Spire and Brash. It's not often that Ferrer has pitched this year down 2 runs.
Yeah.
But you look at the state of Dan Wilson's bullpen, and it has been used a lot over the course of that week-long road trip, and he's obviously the freshest arm.
And not to mention too, some guys kind of get labeled or they show, especially
Liner right there to J.P. Crawford.
Yeah, from a health standpoint, or the way they communicate the next afternoon after throwing maybe 2 innings, that hey, it's like, hey, I'm good. I can come right back. I can pump 98 from the left side. Pizzado being one of those guys as well. And early on, from April, May, you kind of set that tone to say, look, you know what? I can pitch in a game like this. I'll be still good to go tomorrow. You don't have to try and save me for only in leads. But man, he has been absolute godsend with all these misses here in the bullpen.
Strike 1 to Tatis. That's the first time he has taken a pitch tonight. He has had 3 at-bats. He's 0 for 3, seeing 3 pitches.
I gotta wonder, is that a rule though, man? If you just see the 3 pitches, 4th at-bat, you have to take a pitch. You know, in those innings when 2 pitches, 2 outs.
Whoop. A little maintenance there for Ferrer as Pareda comes out to have a talk. Yeah, I don't know. It's
look at Josh Naylor. Welcome back. Yeah, no, Tatis, man. I mean, you just see 1 pitch, right?
0-2.
Yeah, that changeup has come to life as well lately for Ferrer. But Tatis, look, he's been asked too multiple times, what is it? Why do you think there's this lack of power right now?
Julio cutting across into the gap, and he flags this down. 2 outs.
His response is flat out, I don't want to use the words he has said. Inappropriate, but he basically said he has no idea. The ground ball rate is high. He's still got a ton of hard hit, hard contact. Hard hit rate is really high, but a lot of hard contact on the ground. Still no balls have left the yard for him.
That is puzzling, there's no doubt. No home runs so far. Machado takes off the plate for ball 1. The 2-0. Machado recently hitting his 200th home run as a Padre. Now with 375 for his career. Most ever hit by a Padre. 2-2. And among active hitters, he's 1 shy of Paul Goldschmidt. And not that far behind Judge. Stanton leading the charge, the former MVP. Now Stanton, who struggled so mightily to stay healthy, get to 500 in his career. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And he got him. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Ferrer looking fresh, especially for a young dad. Retires the side in order. It is the Vetter Cup. Mariners and the Padres. Here's what's coming up for the Mariners tomorrow. No Mariners TV. That game will be nationally televised on Fox. 4:15 the first pitch time. No Mariners TV on Sunday either. That game will be seen exclusively on Peacock. 4:20 the first pitch. And then everything's back to normal. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Value game tickets each day. 3 games set to wind down the homestand against the Chicago White Sox before the Mariners head to Kansas City. Johnny Pareda the first to face the new pitcher Jason Adam for the Padres.
Again, just having a really good year ever since joining the San Diego Padres. And that ERA hovering around the 1s. A ton of sliders. That funky delivery.
Yeah, what do you make of that?
Yeah,
it's like slow motion, and then
it's bizarre, man. I mean, you know, we've seen this kind of this really short arm path straight to the ear, you know, with the hand, but. Jason Adam, man, this is funky out of the hand, that's for sure. Hides the ball really well. It's a tough look.
That's the deception is the key there?
I think so, yeah. I mean, and you got some of the depth on this hitter, but you see him just kind of hiding that ball, you know, pick up that ball behind his head. Again, we've seen a lot of guys who have that ball straight from the glove, straight behind the ear. Cutting out that arm path.
Strike 3 called on the corner, and Pareda wants to challenge this.
The batter's challenging the strike call.
ABS powered by T-Mobile, and this is on the corner. Man.
Call is confirmed. Seattle has 1 challenge remaining.
And when you're facing a guy with that kind of slider, which is so tough with that look, that deception, see how he can hide it right behind his head. The ball kind of comes out of nowhere. You'll get some of these strike calls and then challenges, especially late in the game.
Here's Donovan, top of the order for the Mariners. Is your best guess, did he develop this delivery with the intent of the deception, or is this just his natural arm path and it works out for him?
When I talk about cutting out from point A to point B as kind of as efficient as you can, right? Kind of like when you see guys throwing a football, right? Like, so the hand goes straight up into that what's called laid back position. But a lot of that is because you want to get that extra extension. You get the hand gets further out. You cut out any kind of inefficient movement with the arm path. But I think a byproduct of that is the fact he has that really good deception too. I don't think it's something like, hey, I'm going to put this behind my ear and then throw.
High fly ball down the line by the foul pole in right field, but a foul ball at the distance. Well, it certainly is unique.
Yeah, it really is.
It has really worked out for him over the course of his career. An all-star. Little inside out, one hopper snared on one knee. Bogarts, and Sheets is off the bag. He had to go up the line. It's an infield base hit for Donovan. The Mariners will bring the tying run to the plate now.
Yeah, Xander Bogaerts, look, he's looked really good at short, covering a ton of ground, making some good plays, but the minute he lost his feet right there, Brendan Donovan's smoking this ball. Really no chance of throwing that Donovan down the line. Now with Goldie, just back to that arm path I'm talking about. Lucas Giolito is going to be pitching for the Padres on Sundays. A good example of that. A lot of these guys, they come back from Tommy John and they want to cut out any, when I say inefficient movement, where there's a little bit of that, poking your hand down, coming up, and messing up your timing. What you're trying to do is time that front foot with where that arm gets to the point where you see with Jason Adam behind the ear. Or guys, a lot of these drive line guys, or guys using plyo balls, same thing. Using those weighted balls. Get to that point A to point, they call it a point A to point B arm path.
He's behind Julio here, 2-0, representing the tying run. 7 homers this year for Julio, 5 this month. 3-0. Donovan at first base, 1 out. He takes and walks on 4 pitches. Go-ahead run comes to the plate.
Well, it's a big spot for the Mariners. Obviously down 2-0. Ruben Niebla is trying to do some stalling right here as Mason Miller's going to get loose in that Padres bullpen. But look, for Jason Adam, as good as he's been this year and last year too, we saw this. If you go chasing that slider, he'll own you all day. If you can lay off that slider just enough and get some 2-0-2 ones, you're going to get something middle of the plate that you can handle.
Mason Miller only has 2 appearances going 1+.
Yeah, I think they're going to press the panic button too quickly here to get Mason Miller in this game. However, if this keeps going sideways, this is where this at bat from Josh Naylor is key. Get something up in the strike zone. Don't go chasing that slider or that changeup out of the zone.
Donovan at second. Julio's speed, the tying run, is at first. One out, 2 on. Naylor at the plate. Outside. Naylor shaking his head. Pretty easy take, ball 1.
And know how aggressive Josh Naylor has been since joining the Seattle Mariners.
Fly ball high, deep, gap, right center field. Merrill flags it down in front of the wall, and everybody has to retreat. Got a lot, but not enough. 2 outs.
I mean, we talked about seeing something up. Josh Naylor, who's been making some really good contact of late, just missed this ball. And that's right center gap.
Two outs, 2 on for Rosarena. And Stammen, wow, is going to get Miller. Miller has had 2 appearances this year, recording 4 outs. Once in early April and once about a week ago. So Stammen's not taking any chances. Best closer in the game getting set to pitch in the 8th.
Taco Bell's left.
When you look at the highest swing and miss rate on any single pitch type in baseball, it's Mason Miller's slider and then everybody else. We know how great Munoz's slider is, and yet Miller's slider, the swing and miss he gets on his version of that pitch, is night and day compared to every other pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and the usage of that slider is going up and up and up as well. Look at average, hitting 101 on average with that heater, can hit 103. You know about that plus velocity, then you got to protect against that slider we just showed.
Facing Randy. He is taking for a strike. There is the slider. Randy is the go-ahead run at the plate. 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning. The 0-1. And Fermin with a great block behind home plate. And everybody stays put.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough to keep in front of you. This is 88, 56-footer to the plate. Keeping Julio out of scoring position that tying run.
1-1. 102 misses.
Yeah, Mason Miller, we're a little surprised. You mentioned the fact he's going multiple or inning plus a couple times, but that's why I said that Josh Naylor at bat was key. If he was able to reach, even if it was just a base on ball, I still think we would have seen Jason Adam to face Randy in that situation.
Swing and a miss on the slider. Miller set a franchise record scoreless streak that was eventually snapped at the end of April. He's pitched 34 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. It was the 8th longest by a reliever dating back to the early 60s for any team. 2-2. Shattered bat and a little bloop. Bogarts, it flattens out on him, and everybody's safe. That bat exploded, and the Mariners have him loaded up.
Well, a couple things with that swing. First of all, just a good job to put bat onto this pitch. This slider below the strike zone, number one. He was kind of one-handed, and that ball has just crept over Mason Miller's head. The other part of this is, too, the fact that ball bounced again in front of Xander Bogaerts. With Randy getting down the line, no chance to make that play.
Here's Connor Joe. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Miller has not given up a home run this year. One 1-0. In fact, he's only given up 1 home run since being acquired at the deadline last year by the Padres from the A's.
Now, what makes him so tough? Again, we talked about the velocity, but if he catches you getting comfortable in that slider, all of a sudden you're going to see 103 at the top of the zone.
Off the plate, 103 missing. High stakes in the 8th. Bases loaded. Mariners down 2 with 2 outs. On a 2-1. 102.
I mean, you see Connor sitting dead red. But that ball again, 102, just sneaks by you when you think you're on it. Cheating to get to that fastball, doesn't matter.
Good take up and away to 103. Challenge
The
coming.
catcher's challenging the call of ball.
The Padres could find themselves out of challenges here.
San Diego has no remaining ABS challenges.
Yeah, not close.
Yeah, that wasn't close. In a way, I kind of get it at this point in the game. But man, not even close right there for Freddie Freeman to try and turn that over.
Yeah, he was hoping that would end the at-bat.
Yeah.
Nowhere to put Connor Joe on a 3-2. Miller going right after him.
Yeah, you can see that his last 5. Everything 102 plus. I mean, you got to just be sitting as he's starting to time up that heater. Connor Joe getting closer and closer to getting on that pitch. You just have to eliminate that slider. If he throws it, tip your cap, stay on that fastball.
3-2. Slider locked him up. That's exactly what happened. It was right over the plate. What are you going to do? Mason Miller. We'll see him again in the 9th. I mean, if you're Connor Joe, that at bat was.
Yeah. I mean, you just tip your cap. We said this right before the pitch, right? You have to eliminate that slider and just sit on that heater through 5 fastballs in a row. Connor Joe started to get to it. It's a 3-2 count. There is 0 you can do with that pitch after seeing 102s, 103s.
Yeah, because, you know, if you're on your couch right now, you're watching that and you're saying, well, what do you mean there's nothing you can do? That was 90-some miles an hour, center cut over the plate. Right? But, yeah. But the issue is you're looking at 103 right. And you're looking at 93.
Yeah, and it's a pitch, too, that you can see in buckle, right? You pick up the spin early, and that's what essentially works against you. And you can see Connor Joe just buckle because he's looking at that spin, he's looking at that ball where it's headed, and it just changes direction, and you just freeze. There's 0 you can do with that pitch.
You have to choose one, basically, if you're the hitter there.
Absolutely, yeah. And especially, too, you have to key in the fact that you're actually on the fastball.
And Bill Miller looked like he had a problem with Hoppy turning around before receiving that pitch.
trying to figure out what was going on right there. But yeah, he was. The other part of this is too. It's like, look, Mason Miller's. You're talking swing and miss. We showed what that slider was, swing and miss rate, 70+%. He was on that fastball. He fouled that one pitch back. You essentially have a chance against that pitch. That's how tough he is.
Alex Hoppe pitching in the ninth as Sheets serves a base hit into left. He's had a good night aboard for the third time, his second hit.
It is amazing though, Goldie. I mean, even going back to Bryce Miller pitching the other day, what was that, Wednesday? And he's like, yeah, hit a couple 99s. I was happy with that. I'm sitting there going like, dude, you threw 99 10 years ago? You are a unicorn. He's like, yeah, I just want to make sure I got a couple 99s. I'm like, oh, that must be nice.
Well, even for Bryce, those were the biggest velocities he's ever had in his career.
But it's like, does anyone throw slower than 97 these days? It's unreal.
Bryce Johnson takes over as a pinch runner for Gavin Sheets. Bogart's broken bat, soft ground ball. Crawford on to first, and it's thrown away. And with that, Johnson is into third. And it will give Bogart second base.
This is a tough break right here. JP just kind of tried to make this throw on the run. Got caught behind. No chance Josh Naylor is going to be able to catch that ball at first base.
They give Bogarts an infield base hit plus the error that allows him to get to second. So an error on Crawford. Runners at second and third now. Infield is in, and Duhar the batter. Chopping foul, 0-2 to Andujar. A couple of base hits tonight for the Padres DH.
One thing with Mason Miller, you talked about just a couple times he's thrown an inning plus. He's never thrown the next day after throwing an inning plus. A couple times he's gone back to back this year. So I guess if you're thinking, looking ahead to tomorrow, if he's unavailable, get that pitch count up a little bit.
Our advanced scout, Ryan Rollins-Smith.
That's right.
Good work there on the game log.
Yeah, I know how to work that feature on the.
He flicks this. Oh, and it's caught on a leap by Cole Young. He just went out there and flicked that ball on top of home plate. Almost got a base hit out of it.
I tell you what, we've been talking all year about Cole Young defense. He's side to side. What about this? Playing in, fully stretched out, and saves a huge run, keeping this game within reach. Had 2 runs, getting a huge first out in this 9th inning.
Here's Laureano. Infield remains in. Run prevention big right now, because if the Padres can take more of a lead, Jeremiah Estrada would pitch, meaning Miller would not go an inning plus, and he very well could be available tomorrow. This is popped up. Crawford retreating after playing in, and he's underneath it with 2 hands. 2 outs.
Tell you what, Alex Hoppe could be off the hook right here. He'd be good to go. A song who we've seen how good the contact can be. Right heading out there, going over a quick little scouting report. Got that open base. One thing with Song, he will chase.
Two outs, 2 on. Infield now at normal depth, strike 1. Johnson at third, Bogarts at second. Fly ball deep right field, trouble. Joe is on the track and he's got room. He makes the catch for out number 3. To the bottom of the ninth, Mariners down to their final 3 outs. J.P. Crawford leads it off. That's the ball game. J.P. Crawford.
Tech that lets you.
Well, the Mariners are down to their final 3 outs. And Mason Miller, as expected, back up on the mound, trying to get a 4-out save today. Strike 1 to J.P. Crawford.
Now we saw Estrada warming up. Maybe if that game with 2 runners in scoring position with none out, if the lead got a little bit bigger, they're going to sit Mason Miller after getting those big outs.
Former Mariner Ty France has taken over at first. Mariners down 2. 101 misses, 2 balls and a strike. To put it in perspective, Miller has allowed 2 runs all year. Three and 1. He walked him. A rare walk issued by Mason Miller. And the Mariners bring the tying run to the plate. Second at bat for Rob Refsnyder tonight. This is not something that Miller has done much of this year. Just the 3rd time he's thrown a 1+. So trying to bridge that gap from sitting back down in the dugout, now coming back onto the mound. Looked okay there.
Now this is that slider he's able to land. It's just a game changer, that pitch.
Off the plate, 2-2. The adrenaline, the hardest part, goes down and have to bring it back up.
I think so. Just again, just the heart rate too. Look, your heart rate drops. You're so used to getting fired up, heart rate up, running out, pitching, and then you can high five, be done with it. Then guess what? You're going to get back out there. It's just tough to make that transition.
Well, he has had some easy takes by his standards, at least, and he runs a 3-ball count again. Put him away. 101.
Again, righties are hitting coming into this game. 0-63 against Mason Miller. Lefty's still hitting 171, but I think the other part too, we talked about that heart rate, right? So you had that first at bat against JP, he's kind of spraying the ball all over the place. Get everything calibrated. Now he gets back to what he was in that 8th inning. See the commands just gotten right back to where it was.
Backdoor slider for a strike to Cole Young. Dan Wilson getting ready to go to his bench again. Mitch Garver stands on deck. He will bat for Pareda. Young, base hit right field. Crawford is holding at second. 1 out, 2 on, and the Mariners will bring the winning run to the plate.
Man, Cole Young just keeps checking boxes, right? We talked about can he handle plus velocity. He's done that all April and even into May. Can he handle lefties? Yes. Can he handle some of the toughest pitches in the big leagues? And one being Mason Miller. It's a slider, which we've talked about how tough that pitch is. 70% plus whiff rate. Drives that ball into right field.
1 out, 2 on tomorrow. Middle game of the series. 4:15 the first pitch. Game exclusively on Fox. No Mariners TV tomorrow. Mariners will be seeing Walker Buehler for the second time, the longtime Dodger.
He's been better of late too. We talked about some of the injuries from this rotation. Walker Buehler's been better, and Logan Gilbert was coming off a nice one.
Well, yesterday Garver with his first home run of the year. Just found the Crawford boxes out there in Houston. All smiles for the Mariners catcher. And he comes up here in a huge spot. 1 out, 2 on. He is the winning run at the plate. Miller has not given up a home run this year. He's allowed just 1 as a Padre since being acquired last year at the deadline. Crawford at second, Young at first. Crowd on its feet. Game 1. Knee buckling slider, strike 1. Not close on the slider. 0-2. Got him with another slider. Garver down on 3 pitches. 2 outs. Mariners down to their final out now.
I mean, filthy breaking ball coming off the bench. Facing 70% swing and miss, and 103 to go with it.
It is up to Brendan Donovan, the last hope tonight for the Mariners. Winning run at the plate. Going after the first pitch, just pulls it foul. In front of a slider, strike 1. Crawford the runner at second, Young at first. Donovan the last hope tonight for the Mariners. The 0-1. Takes low at 102. Miller's now at 31 pitches, the most he's thrown in any game this year. Next pitch to Donovan. Check swing foul. He and the Mariners down to their final strike. Not where you want to be, facing Mason Miller in the 9th inning. One, 2. Runs in. It's never even 100. The floor is 101.
Right.
Now a 2-2. That's the ball game. Miller with a 4-out save, and the Mariners get shut out tonight 2-0 against the Padres.
Man, look, Randy Vasquez, he was tough, handed off to that bullpen. You saw Mason Miller having to deal with him, inning plus. I mean, you think about it, right? This is a situation the Mariners didn't have a whole lot happening offensively. There's just that one situation where Cole Young was doubled off. That catch in left field. Besides that, I mean, a walk to Gavin Sheets from Emerson Hancock, who was really good. 6 innings tonight. He came around to score, and that was pretty much all she wrote. But tough sledding against his tough pitching from the San Diego Padres.
Tough way to open up the homestand. 2-0 Padres win it. Mariners post game on the other side.